This is VOA News. Via remote, I'm Diane Roberts. Several inmates were killed after a fire broke out at a prison in Iran's capital. AP correspondent Karen Chames reports.
A firefighter puts out singeing embers from an overnight fire at Tehran's Evin prison. Speaking from the site, an Iranian TV reporter picks up a piece of burnt cloth from the floor. Tehran's governor, Mohsen Mansouri, explains this fire was caused by a fight between some prisoners in a sewing workshop. The workshop was set up to create jobs for prisoners. The blaze comes as nationwide anti-government protests triggered by the death of a young woman in police custody entered a fifth week. In online videos, gunshots and explosions could be heard in the area of the prison. Officials have attempted to separate any connection at the prison with the ongoing protests in Iran, while state media has offered conflicting accounts of the violence. Hundreds are being held at Evin, where human rights groups have reported repeated abuses of prisoners. I'm Karen Chamas.
Russia has opened a criminal investigation after gunmen shot dead 11 people at a military training ground near the Ukrainian border, authorities said Sunday, as fighting raged in eastern and southern Ukraine. A Russian-owned news agency said two gunmen opened fire during a training exercise targeting a group who had volunteered to fight in Ukraine. It said the gunmen, which they called terrorists, were shot dead. The incident is the latest blow to Russian President Vladimir Putin's special military operation in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Sunday his country had been able to export about 8 million tons of food by sea. Speaking during his evening address, Zelensky said that 60% of the transported goods were sent to Africa and Asia. This is VOA News. A standoff between a powerful gang federation and Haiti's government is testing how much power both sides wield and threatens to further derail a paralyzed country where millions of people are struggling to find fuel and water. In a recent video posted on Facebook, G9 and family leader Jimmy Cherizier, who goes by the nickname Barbecue, read a proposed plan to stabilize Haiti that includes the creation of a council of sages with one representative from each of Haiti's 10 departments. The former police officer has proposed his own plan for Haiti's future while demanding that the administration of Prime Minister Ariel Henry grant amnesty and void arrest warrants against the group's members, a demand that so far has gone unanswered. A police officer was charged Sunday over the fatal shooting of a man who refused to stop at a traffic check Friday in France. Already in custody, the officer was brought before an investigating magistrate who charged him with violence leading to death rather than intentionally killing the victim, sources said. This is the 12th such death in France this year. U.S. President Joe Biden is using the need to help prevent the spread of COVID to expel Venezuelan migrants, and it's taken straight from former President Donald Trump's playbook. Here's AP's Julie Walker.
The rule, first invoked by former President Trump in 2020, uses emergency public health authority to allow the U.S. to keep migrants from seeking asylum at the border. It's based on the need to help prevent the spread of coronavirus. Candidate Joe Biden denounced Trump for it. Now, with midterm elections nearing and increasing numbers of Venezuelans arriving at the border, Biden has turned to his predecessor's playbook. Venezuelans who walk or swim across America's southern border will be expelled, and any who illegally enter Mexico or Panama are ineligible to come to the U.S. But as many as 24,000 will be accepted at U.S. airports. I'm Julie Walker.
92 migrants were found almost naked and bruised after allegedly being forced across the Evros River from Turkey into Greece, Athens said Sunday, a charge fiercely denied by Ankara. EU border agency Frontex confirmed to AFP the arrival of the group in circumstances which the Greek Ministry for Civil Protection said sent out an, quote, inhuman image, end quote. An agency spokesperson said Frontex officers worked with Greek authorities to provide the migrants, mainly Afghans and Syrians, with immediate assistance. And recapping our top story, several inmates were killed after a fire broke out at a prison in Iran's capital. A firefighter puts out singeing embers from the overnight fire at the prison. Via remote, I'm